Troy Branham, that's Troybranham, Battalion Chief with Colorado Springs Fire Department.
All right, Battalion Chief, tell me a little bit about what... You're ready, Mark? All right, sir. If I could please get your name first and last, how to spell them, and your title.
Troy Branham, that's Troybranham. I'm a Battalion Chief with Colorado Springs Fire Department.
All right, Battalion Chief, tell me a little bit about what brought you out here today.
We got called to a gas leak at about 2:28 this afternoon. Our first on-scene companies determined that we had a significant gas leak, had a strong odor throughout the area. We wound up with 3 pieces of heavy equipment on scene, heavy fire apparatus, as well as 2 support vehicles. We coordinated with PD. We wound up shutting down Garden of the Gods, both eastbound and westbound, due to the gas levels that we had. Our hazmat unit was on scene with their gas meters, able to figure out where our explosive range were at. So we shut down Garden of the Gods, utilizing about 10 police officers and 7 of their community service representatives as well. We have utilities here from the gas department, about 10 of their personnel, and 3 from electric. Because of the way this gas leak was, we had gas seeping into multiple manholes and electrical vaults. So it was really a coordinated effort between all of the agencies to be able to open up these different vaults, get everything ventilated. And obviously, as you saw, utilities has been here on scene quite a while. We had to dig up the street in Garden of the Gods in order to get down to that gas line and crimp the line off, and they'll be continuing to get to a valve to where they can shut down the valve.
How dangerous of a situation is this? Like, what level is safe for these gas levels, and what were we seeing out here?
It's extremely dangerous from the levels that we had. We're looking at between roughly 7% and 20% being an explosive range. With that gas going across Garden of the Gods, we were in the upper 20%. So every vehicle going by is a particular or potential ignition source for that gas leak. And that's why it was so important that we did shut down travel.
With the sort of gas leak that you're seeing here, the levels you're getting, what sort of potential range are you seeing?
We went to the north side of Garden of the Gods, and there's 2 buildings across there, the Shell station and a Taco Bell. Inside the structures is what our big concern was, and we were between 1 and less than 1% inside the structures. Obviously, by shutting down the street where we did, we minimized any traffic, pedestrian and otherwise, into those buildings. As soon as we got it shut down, we were able to open those buildings, get everything totally ventilated, and they're clear at this time.
How many structures were we forced to evacuate? How many do we have on standby?
We had 1 structure that was totally evacuated, which is the Conoco directly to my left where the incident occurred. We have 4 facilities to the south side that were put on pre-evacuation notice. Our big concern was if there would be a wind shift and move that gas into a different direction. They were not officially evacuated, just put on notice. And the Shell and the Taco Bell, they were within safe limits, so they were kept in place with that pre-notice that if it changed, we would evacuate them.
What sort of difficult conditions are you guys dealing with today that you would normally see at a gas leak like this?
One of the significant things that we had is Garden of the Gods being a major road. The pavement is extremely thick, 10 inches or better in places. So we really had a lot of trouble with the backhoe digging through the surface to get down to the line to stop the leak.
How dangerous is it for your guys and these utilities workers to get out here and really get in there to be able to shut this off?
It can be extremely dangerous. What we want to do is come in and minimize as many of those dangers as we can. Number 1 being the ignition sources, which had to do with the shutting down Garden of the Gods. We also put all of our folks in protective gear. In some type of Nomex, as you see, utilities is also wearing Nomex. Those that are working in the hole trying to shut down the valve also had self-contained breathing apparatus on. We actually wet down the area that they're working in to prevent any sparks as causing an ignition. And we have a safety line in place, so if anything were to occur, we had people staffed on a line to add that protection.
And what was the initial cause of this release of the gas?
The initial cause was underground boring with their machine actually hit the line.
And was that underneath the Conoco itself, or was that in the street?
I believe it's going to be in the easement underneath the sidewalk more so. I can't say that for certain, but I believe that's where it's at.
Why did they hit the line? Don't they normally survey the area before they do underground construction?
They do surveys, but I can't answer exactly what was off, whether it was within their machine and their boring machine, or if the maps were off by a little bit. You know, if they'd have been maybe 2 inches either direction, we wouldn't be here.
What sort of timeline are you guys looking at? Well, I guess is it all on the fire department's end, but do we have any idea when this will be reopened?
We're in the process of getting things in place to open westbound Garden of the Gods at this time. Eastbound, I can't give you a time frame. I'm going to guess minimum another half hour, but that's just a guess.